So when you were at the TCA panel, there was a hint that you might go on for a second season.
Right.
Do you know if that's going to happen or not?
I have no idea. I still don't know. The way we shot or closed out this last season, because we just finished the last episode about a week ago, and the way we closed it out, I don't know. I have no idea. They kind of leave it up in the air, which is kind of fun. It's kind of interesting, but I couldn't tell you.
So can we assume that you survive at least, or your character survives, or no?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. The way it was done, nobody knows anything. So I'll be surprised to see it too. You know what I mean? I guess it's sort of a la Hitchcock, when Hitchcock would give certain actors certain scenes and then other actors certain scenes, and they never knew what was going on really. It's kind of like that. It's in that vein, but it's cool.
How much were you told about him when you signed on, and how different did he turn out to be than what you expected?
It's I knew what Graham wanted to accomplish, and I think we got really, really, really close. I think we achieved everything that Graham saw in the Limehouse character. He's a banker. He's not really a bad guy, not really a good guy. He's whatever he has to be, and which means he's all of the above, if necessary. But the Limehouse I prefer is the one that walks on the dark side. That's why I keep him on the dark side a little bit more, because I think you have to have an element of darkness present at all times to give it the credibility that he will go complete dark side. So I like it. I like this character a lot. It's creepy. I was on the aisle in the grocery store about a week and a half ago, and this woman saw me and recognized me and left the aisle. And it was hysterical. I was like, wow, it's working. It's working.
Did anything...
Sorry. Go.
Did anything surprise you about him?
I'm surprised every single day. There's a team of writers, as you well know, and everyone has a different contribution, which helps to build this pyramid. And there are things that I see on the page and I go, oh my God, I never thought about that, and that's great. So I'm surprised every single day I go to work. And being around guys like Don Kurt, who's one of our producer directors, he's one of those men who was cut from the same cloth as a Michael Mann or John Abnett, who sort of scares the hell out of actors because you don't know what's going to come out of this man's mind. And it's always a challenge to try and achieve it or elevate what he throws at you. So, Don Kurt has a lot to do with it too.
Was that eye for the dark side for the character, was that always something that was established from the beginning, or was that something that you tweaked with the writers and the producers to take it down that path?
Well, the good thing about being on a show like Justified is you stick to the premise, but not necessarily every single word that's on the page. We don't have anal, insecure writers. Mm-hmm. Everybody's, it's like free flow, and it's sort of like training in martial arts. You know what the format is and what the style is, and then you adapt the style to your instrument, and you make it work. So that's kind of what it's like working on Justified. It's like training with a jiu-jitsu master. It's wonderful. I love it.
Limehouse might be making some new alliances in the upcoming episode. Can you talk a little bit about that?
You want me to spoil it? No, I'm not a spoiler. Well, I'll just tell you like this. As you watch this season unfold, you'll realize that Raylan has met a very formidable foe, unlike any other foe he's come up against in the past, and it makes him scratch his own head. But you're going to also see Raylan in situations you've never seen him in, and justifiably so. You're going to be really upset at some things you see coming down the pike. That's really all I can tell you without giving it away. Just stay tuned, because I'm telling you, there's some things I don't even know that are going down. I can't wait till it comes on tomorrow night, FX.
So if if you don't have a full idea of what a show is like the Hitchcock thing, where somebody putting someone in some scenes, but they don't know what's going on around them, do you then enjoy watching the show?
Absolutely, absolutely. This past month, it's we've written quite, I would say 80% of the scenes were written right on the set because we all had ideas. And Tim Oliphant is the kind of guy who, that producer title he has is not just a vanity title. That cat works hard, man. He works so hard. He's got great ideas. He's always got a brilliant contribution. He throws things at you, and you just have to sort of pick something. And so actors who read the script when it was sent to them, when they see the show, they don't realize, I don't know what was done in someone else's scene, and they don't know what was done in our scene because it's all different. So it's fun for all of us, because it's never just like you thought it was going to be. It's always different.
And are you sometimes surprised about the effects of the things that your character can do at points in terms of how it affects the story? Are you surprised ever when you watch the show?
Not in that regard. Well, no, that's not true. I am surprised at what the Limehouse effect, I'll call it. How he affects other characters, like Boyd Crowder, for example. I've been watching the show for a couple of years before I was invited to come on, and I always hoped I'd be invited. But when I was invited, it scared the hell out of me because I love the show, and I don't want to be the guy that screws it up. You know what I mean? So it's terrifying. But being there with those guys, there's no egos. Everybody checks their ego at the door, and they just grind and get it done. And Walton he's one of those actors. He's so fascinating to watch because he surprises me in the scenes that he's in with me. I'm surprised all the time.
Is there a character that you find especially fascinating in the show?
Yeah. My favorite character on television is Raylan Givens, Tim's character. That's the coolest damn character on TV. I would switch hats with that dude anytime. I'm serious. He's got the coolest, but he's also got a very hard job. But the way he does that, it's like the new school Clint Eastwood. He's a badass, and I love it.
Do you have a favorite scene from this season, and why?
Not a favorite. I have several favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a scene coming up in episode 13, the big showdown scene. I won't even tell you who's in it, but it's a hot mess. And that's one of my favorites, is the way things appear to go in one direction, and then someone makes a decision, and it just changes everything, and all hell breaks loose. And nobody knows who's left standing, kind of thing. I love that, man. It's really cool.
And assuming you're coming back for another season, do you have any hopes of what we'll see Limehouse do?
I have a whole character bible of potential storylines, but I won't share them with anybody because, sometimes you can just get ahead of yourself.
So are these storylines you've made up in your head, and
Yes.
do the writers listen to you?
Every day. We listen to them, they listen to us, we throw stuff at them, and they go, whoa. And then you look up 5 minutes later, 20 minutes later, and it's on the page, and you go, okay, now I have to make it work. Because at first it was just in your head, but now it involves cameras moving around and lights and effects and this and that. So you just have to make it work.
Can you talk about some of the differences between work that you've done previously versus being on Justified?
Yeah. I've been fortunate. I've been able to work with the people that I want to work with. So I've been able to avoid the high drama people that don't have a lot of talent, but they have a lot of stuff going on around them that draws the press like flies. I've been able to stay away from guys like that and girls like that and work with just really genuinely talented people. And Justified is different. It's different for me in the fact that I never know what to expect when I go to work. Even though I have the script and I've learned the lines, driving to work, there's always this butterfly in my stomach, this anticipation, because, like I was telling you about Tim Oliphant, Tim is a machine. He never stops thinking and being creative. And you can learn a scene, and on your way to work, you know it's not going to be the same. You just know that. And you're wondering how it's going to change, how it's going to be different. And you've got to learn it like really fast, because we're running and gunning, man. This show moves so quick. So that's fun and exhilarating. But this location is so far, it's literally 100 miles away from my doorstep. From my driveway to where I park at work is 100 miles exactly. Sometimes 100.3, but it's always like 100 miles to get to work. So it's cool. It's a lot more fun. Plus, people haven't seen me play a dark character like this as often. That's rare. They're used to seeing me as the guy from Forrest Gump, Bubba Blue, that they go, oh, Bubba. But this is definitely not Bubba, and it's fun.
Is there somebody that you based him on? I mean, I know it's really well written and the characters there, but in your head, is there someone you think about, or a movie that you borrow from? Or?
No, he's not based on any movie characters. Graham Yost came to me with some research and some information on a real person who was sort of like this Limehouse guy.
Okay.
He was a banker. He hid the money for the white criminals. He hid it in the black holler because he knew that, and the white criminals knew that nobody would dare try to go in the black holler at night and steal their money because this guy had it. And Graham came up with the name Limehouse because of a legendary person who used to he used to entrap black people into slavery, and he was black himself, but his name was Limehouse. And so he would hire farm workers, but they would never ever be able to get back home because of this guy Limehouse. So he's a collage, a combination of those different people that Graham Yost knew about, and some people that I grew up with that I didn't like very much. So he's a collage of all those people.
Well, nobody's done creepy psychopath as well as Neal McDonough's done it this season.
Oh, yeah.
And how fun has it been for you to play with him, especially, because I've seen through episode 10 now, and you get some more moments kind of with him.
Yeah.
So how has that been to get to play against that?
Well, Neal is like a brother to me. We love each other. We did Boomtown together. So when Graham called us and told us he was going to pit us against one another, I mean, we're always trying to one-up each other anyway on the golf course or whatever it is we're doing. So it's really fun to go at it with McDonough all the time, every single day, because I know he's trying to outthink me, and I'm definitely trying to, set his behind on fire, so I see flames coming out of his back pockets. So we're after each other every day, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah, it is. And he loves what he's doing. He loves being crazy. He loves it. Because he just gets tickled sometimes and starts giggling. I'm like, what are you giggling at? Wait until you see this. But it's fun. Yeah.
Is that 100-mile drive helpful at all to get into character? Can you really spend that time figuring... I mean, I know you said it's going to be different to see him when you get there, but you're going to know a certain amount of pathos of that character.
It's hard to get into character in traffic in L.A.
Yeah.
All L.A. traffic does is piss you off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that.
So I try not to bring anger to the work, but I try to bring darkness to the work, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The beauty of the characters on Justified is all the human beings that are written, they're all flawed. Even the good guys, you see darkness surface, and even the dark guys, you see their humanity every now and then. You get a peek into their humanity, and you go, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? He's a bad guy, but you just got a chance to see that you do still have things in common with that person as humanity is concerned, So it's fun. It's fun. I love the writing on this show.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and I'm so happy it's done, and I didn't screw it up this year.
Well, since I came in a minute late, forgive me if you've already answered this, but talking about the humanity, what, for you as an actor, what is it that you hope the audience sees behind the darkness? Like, are you drawing on certain either parts of yourself or parts of people you know to find that humanity in him so that they can relate in a way? You know, every character is a little dark and does some bad things, but at the same time you want to root for them too.
Right. Well, my approach is I go to prisons and I visit inmates and just talk to them about life and about choices, and I use my choices as an actor to talk to them about choices in life. And one of the things that I find a lot of the guys behind bars have in common is we perceive them as bad guys, but when you talk to them, that's somebody's son, that's someone's grandson, and most of those guys just lost it for about 20 seconds. They just lost it for about 20 seconds. And if you think about that, how much your life changes for losing it for like 20 seconds, it kind of puts everything in perspective. That they don't walk around as bad guys, all of them, but they are human beings, and they sometimes make a decision to do something really bad. And they're all trying to right a wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they've been wronged somehow. And that's all these characters on Justified do. They feel like they've been wronged, whether they're right or wrong. And then they take it, they just take the situation in their own hands, and you got bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seems like your character sees this as like a generations long responsibility to keep carrying this on, sort of an issue of what you were born into and survival.
Right.
Is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah. The essence of the character Limehouse is he simply wants to be left alone. He cut a deal with Mags that she would keep drugs and everything out of his community if he would do some banking for her and keep her records and her money straight and protect it from anybody getting a hold of it until she called on it. But once the Mags equation was no longer subsistent, now the whole world is falling apart around this man, and he's really pissed off with Mags for killing herself, because now he's got to deal with all these people he never had to deal with before, and he simply wants to be left the hell alone. And that's why he does what he does. But, losing Mags was the equation that opened up this whole world to all these crazy people.
We have time for one last question.
Who's it going to be?
Well, with Dickie running around again,
Yeah.
does that mean he's going to have to deal with that? Because he seems like he doesn't have, a whole lot of patience for, I don't think anybody
For Dickie
has a whole
Bennett?
lot of patience for Dickie Bennett.
No. Limehouse doesn't like Dickie Bennett. He thinks he's a fool. He thinks he's dangerous. He's not really convinced that he's Mag's son anyway, because of rumors that are floating around the Black Holler. And he just despises this guy. Limehouse despises him and wants him to go away. Doesn't want to kill him, but wants somebody else to do it. But he just wants Dickie gone because he thinks Dickie's a complete fool and a screw up.